Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. Today we're reading about Orky Kultur. Many aspects of the Orkide culture seems bewildering to outsiders. Yet, to the greenskins, they are just facts of life. One such peculiarity is that orcs use teeth, or teal, as currency. The bigger and the gnarlier the tusk, the more it is worth. Some orcs' teeth grow faster than others, but this isn't seen as unfair. After all, if an orc needs cash in a hurry, they can just smash some naturally wealthy greenskins in their gobs and gather up the resultant blood-spattered windfall. Another oddity is that some orcs spontaneously develop the specialist knowledge required for their race to function. Mech boys are driven to compulsively tinker with technology, inventing everything from armor and oversized machine guns to battle tanks, energy shields, and madcap teleportation technology. Pain boys, meanwhile, instinctively know the gruesome, literal ins and outs of greenskin anatomy, and they are capable of providing rough and ready surgery to those willing to pay their exorbitant fees, and to chance their whimsical need to experiment on their patients. Then there are the Runthords, who possess a bone-deep understanding of how to rear, train, and herd the squeaks and runts that keep orc society functioning, known collectively as the Odd Boys. These sort of specialist orcs neither know nor care where their knowledge comes from. If pressed, they might say it was in their blood. Some imperial xenobiologists theorize that this may literally be true. Orcs care little for their own history, but what oral tradition they do possess speaks of a lost caste known as the Brain Boys, who once ruled over the Greenskin Society, then dwindled away. Theories persist if these beings truly did exist. Then perhaps they engineered genetic knowledge into the servants before they disappeared. Certainly this would go some way to explaining how a race as short-termist and anarchic as the orcs could not only survive, but thrive in even the most inhospitable environments in the galaxy. Might makes right. Even a single orc is dangerous. With their hulking physiques, jutting tusks, taloned fingers, and ability to sustain catastrophic injuries, even temporary decapitation without dying. Then, these Xenos are natural warriors. Yet it is simple and resilient nature of orc society that raises them from a civilization of mere thuggish beasts to a world-conquering, nigh unstoppable threat. Orcs love to fight. The bigger, louder, and more inaccurate the battle, the more orcs enjoy it. They will brawl amongst one another if they cannot find an external party against whom to vent their aggression. And in doing so, they establish a simple and robust pecking order. The biggest, the strongest, the most ferociously violent orc inevitably fights their way to the top of the heap, and their way to the top of the heap, and becomes war boss. Those rivals he batters on his way up naturally fall into place as his swaggering lieutenants. The rest of the orcs follow their lead. Moreover, the more orcs fight and win, the larger and more monstrous they grow. If a new contender gets big and mean enough to challenge for rulership, they and the war boss will fight it out. The orcs see this barbar system as right and natural, and it ensures that they are always led by the most powerful, if not the brightest orc amongst them. This, not sure how to pronounce it, internecine competition is inherent to every aspect of what orcs call their culture, and it speaks to the obsessive nature of their simple psyches. Orcs do not merely enjoy things, they become monomaniacal about them, whether it is to be fighting, going as fast as possible, setting fire to things, building contraptions, or whatever else. Once an orc fixates upon that thing, nothing else will do. Not only this, but they are driven to prove themselves the best fighter, the speediest racer, the most pyromaniacal burner of things, and so on. The tribal warfare and breakneck races continue until such a time as a non-orc enemy presents itself. At this point, the Greenskins' rivalries are set aside, at least partially, to allow for an all-out war against whatever unfortunate species they have encountered. Of course, such conflicts inevitably offer their own opportunities for orcs so inclined to prove they are the biggest, meanest, and ultimately best. Robust ecosystem. Wherever orcs are found, a strange ecosystem develops that sustains their crude society. Odd fungi springs up in profusion, as do innumerable species of misshapen beasts, commonly known to the orcs as squigs. Different strains of these cultures have different uses, from the dribble-snouted oil squigs or the oddly musical squig pipes to massive strains of riding squigs, delicious eating squigs, viciously fanged gnasher squigs, and countless others. Along with these useful, surly, and vicious creatures, an underclass of green-skin runts manifests itself, dividing these simple-minded snotlings, useful for fetching, carrying, squig farming, and little else, and the wiry and cunning Gretchen. These Gretchen, also known as grots, serve their bullying orc masters as servants, skivvies, ammo carriers, and surgical orderlies, carrying out any jobs that the orcs themselves can't be bothered to do. Gretchen are physically smaller and weaker than orcs, but their conniving and sneaky nature is beyond anything most orcs are capable of. This allows the Gretchen to survive and even prosper amongst orc society. It does not, however, prevent them from being constantly brutalized, eaten, subjected to ghastly industrial accidents, trampled underfoot, blown up for target practice, or herded into battle as landmine clearance. Bizarrely, few grots ever complain about this treatment. They accept their short, cruel lives as simply another part of the natural order of things. Besides, the spiteful creatures can always find a slower, stupider, or weaker runt to take the bullet for them in a pinch. Where the strange orcloid ecosystem springs from, or how it self-regulates, is a mystery to every other sentient race in the galaxy. Theories abound that orcs originate from some conjoined subdimension beyond real space. They are rumored to replicate through a twisted form of mitosis, or through spores, replete with all genetic components required to reproduce fresh waves of orcs, runts, and squigs shed from their bodies. This last theory bears much credence, for it is very true. Unless the corpse of every last orc is burned after battle, sooner or later a planet attacked by orcs will see them emerge from the shadows to fight again. Of course, this is a risk even if the invading greenskins are properly disposed of. Should a world's defenders put up a spirited fight, word spreads amongst the greenskin warbands of a planet where a good scrap can be had. This brings wave upon wave of copycat invasions, often culminating in even the most stoic defense being overrun by orcs. We don't fight for food, for teeth, for guns. We don't fight 'cause we told you to fight, but 'cause we was born to fight and win. I really do think the Shinji and Warhammer 40k guy does the pretty good impersonation of that. It's a really, really long novel. Then, of course, there's also stuff by Stefan Gagne. That's pretty good, too. Okay.